Hi there, I'm Rich from Blue Flame Digital, and last November I entered the Specky Jam event where you can enter a ZX Spectrum style computer game, and there's quite a few of us that entered. It was great fun to do, and it's great to see all the different entries. For the actual event I only submitted a Windows version of the game, but I wrote the code using XNA, knowing that I could convert it using MonoGame to basically deploy to all the different platforms. And I've been playing around with getting it over to the Ouya, and I've been tweeting about it, and a couple of people have asked how I've gone about doing that. So I just thought I'd put together a quick little video to explain a few things that I've done. So as you can see Nimble Gym, the game I made, running in Windows. I basically use Windows 7 and Visual Studio 2010, and as you can see over here I have a Windows project. The great thing about using MonoGame is that you can generate, it has templates for all the different platforms, so you can easily generate the different projects for the different platforms. And what I've done here is created a new Ouya project, and not sure why it's showing all those files. Right, there we go. So I've created a new Ouya project and basically place it in exactly the same folder as the Windows project, so both projects use exactly the same files. Now of course there's platform specific things, and to get around that just use compiler directives. So we know if it's the Ouya compiling, we know if it's Windows, we know if it's Android, yeah, and any platform you wish to use. So we can use exactly the same code base and have platform specific things in there if we need to. So obviously when converting this over to Ouya, there was just a couple of things I needed to tweak. I did find in the mono version of XNA, which is MonoGame, there's a command on the texture, the 2D texture, called getPixel, and I was using this to get the pixel information off the textures, and then using my own renderer to use those pixels to display them as a ZX Spectrum style. I found on the mono version it was actually quite slow, really slow, and also it didn't work on the Ouya. So I basically had to rethink how I was going to import those 2D textures, and I just wrote a quick program to strip out all the pixels from the PNGs that I'd created, and I just basically shoved them in a text file, and now they're in a text file. It doesn't matter what platform uses those. Okay, so to hook up the Ouya, I signed up to the developer's account. I'm not sure that if that did anything specifically. I think I needed to download the Ouya SDK, but as far as I remember I just installed the latest MonoGame, which had the Ouya libraries. Oh, actually I did need to download a library from MonoGame, which had an update to one of the Ouya libraries, which I just had to recompile and link to in my project, which was fine. When I've basically plugged in the Ouya using a USB cable. When I plugged it in, Windows 7 seemed to find the drivers for it. I know some people have had problems and have had to manually install drivers, but for some reason my Windows 7 seemed to pick it up straight away. And there were a couple of tweaks. Hopefully I'll be able to blog this on the page, but there's a couple of files that did need to be tweaked. And if you look here, this is the location on my computer. It's program files, Android SDK, extras, Google, USB driver, and it's the Android Win USB int file. And in here I had to basically add these couple of lines in this file, and then I had to get the ADB Android thing to connect up. I had to use the DOS prompt and update the Android update ADB basically, and it generates this file. My username is Rich, and there's a .android file in your user folder. Once you do Android update ADB, it generates this ADB file, and in here I just had to add this one line, which I think is the ID for the Ouya console. Once I had that in place, I think I had to kill the ADB server and start it up again, and it picked it up in ADB, which is cool. So, what does this mean? Okay, so I've got my MonoGame Windows. So if I hit run like any other Windows project, launches a window, and you can obviously test the game straight away. Okay. So how do we get over to the Ouya? Like I said, we set up the Ouya project, which has exactly the same files. If we now set this as our startup project, and we need to basically rebuild this, and once that's built, give it a few seconds, you then need to deploy, and you can see the progress down here. Okay, it's basically launched a window to select the device, and you can see the Ouya consoles come up on here. And to get it onto this window, you need to set up those text files that I just showed previously. So yes, we want the Ouya. And status down here tells us when it's ready. Deploy succeeded. Okay, when we're at this stage, we basically can literally hit the start debugging button, and over on the Ouya it instantly launches. There we go, and as you can see, I'm now running on the Ouya. There's a few things I need to test and tweak, but hopefully I'll be able to get a build and put it onto the Specky Jam website, which is speckyjam.com, where you can check out all the other entries as well. I hope I haven't been waffling too long, and hope it was useful to some of you. Thank you. The other cool thing I forgot to mention, actually, on your Ouya, once you've deployed your game, if you go on your playlist and scroll through to the end, you can actually see, if you make sure you've got the correct artwork and things, you can see your game on the play menu. Thanks.